let me talk about engineering for scale, introducing the Checkmk Relay for large-scale distributed deployments. So a common design principle is form should follow the function. And this, of course, also true for monitoring, ideally. OK, so let's see where we are. If you want to know the form that you're aiming at, then of course you need to clarify what is the function. So let's take a look at a company infrastructure. You have your main office, you have data centers, you may have something like a manufacturing site, and you may have lots of branch offices. And your requirements will differ. So for the data center, you most likely want performance. Maybe you want metrics in a sub-minute resolution. For your manufacturing site, you want reliability, independence. You don't want to miss one single important event. Even in case of a network outage, for example, you really want to be covered here. And for your branch offices, you most likely want to have low maintenance, because again, you might have quite a lot of them, and you don't want to be busy maintaining all of these offices all of the time. So let's take a look. In such a distributed environment, what does Checkmk currently offer? And I guess you all know the answer, because there's one answer currently, and that is you put a Checkmk site everywhere. And a Checkmk site is very versatile, and it comes with a lot of features like config push, view only, local access, alerting, CMC dump, real-time checks that allow you to configure a site in a way that it will probably suit your needs. However, coming back to this paradigm that form should follow function, you can't help but ask, well, are you really sure that a full-blown Checkmk site always is the right answer, even if that's not my requirement? So let's take a look. Your requirements are independence and flexibility. A Checkmk site is a great choice, because as I just said, you can configure a lot, and you can probably make it work. However, it comes at a cost. Maintenance, and it's a powerful application, but it's a fat application. You need to run the whole stack, and that needs resources, both your personal ones in maintenance and also in hardware, of course. That's why we're introducing the Checkmk Relay. If your requirement is, I just want to collect data, that's all I need. I don't want to have maintenance, I don't want to have separate rules and so on. The Checkmk Relay is your choice. But, of course, now you see there's some space left. That also comes at a cost, and that's fewer features. And I put a question mark there because whether fewer features are an actual cost, again, it depends on your requirements. Because as long as it meets your requirement, you don't care about the other features that are not there. And it just means lower maintenance and less attack surface. So how does the relay work? And this slide you already saw. So assuming the situation, you have a Checkmk site and you have a separate network where the monitored hosts are. You can't monitor them directly. So what you do is you put the Checkmk relay into the network where the hosts are, and the relay will fetch the data from the host and will push it, encrypted of course, to the Checkmk site. So that means it's lightweight because there is not any monitoring logic in it. We really just fetch the data, push it to the site. It's encrypted via MTLS. It's maintenance-free because you configure it via the site and it will be automatically updated. And it's cloud-ready in the sense that it's outbound only. That's important for your cloud situation because the relay connects to the site and pushes the data, always that direction. OK, now this is the one slide that I show you every year to show you that it's very complicated. So this is how it works. This is what we're dealing with. You're configuring something in the UI, setting up your rules and so on, and then you click on Activate Changes. The configuration will then be created and pushed to the agent receiver. The agent receiver is the one and only point of contact for the relay. The relay will always contact the agent receiver. So the config sits there, it waits, and then the relay pulls the configuration into the relay, where it will configure the schedulers and the fetchers. The scheduler will, on a regular basis, tell the fetchers to run. The fetcher will do what they do. They will fetch the data from the monitored host, either via HTTP API or SNMP. So all the SNMP libraries are in there, all the special agents are in there, soon the active checks will be in there as well. And then the response is pushed back to the agent receiver. The agent receiver forwards it to the monitoring core, and the monitoring core will do what it always does. So from the perspective of the monitoring core, that's not that new, because it now gets fetch results, and it forwards them to the checkers. The checkers compute their check result. The service states, they are stored in the monitoring core and can be accessed via UI. So that bit stays the same. We just moved a lot of the logic into the relay. And so that's what's happening during monitoring after you clicked activate changes. But there's one other important path, that is when the user interacts with the setup. For example, you want to do a discovery. Well, the relay needs to do something right now, not at some point when the scheduler thinks it's time. And this is why we have the ad hoc commands. That means a task is created, is sent to the agent receiver. Again, the relay will contact the agent receiver continuously. It will see the task, work on it, and send the response back to the UI. Okay, so that was quite some work to get all these components isolated and move them somewhere else and so on. And I realize it looks complicated, but the good news is you don't really have to care about any of this because it's really simple to deploy, also at scale. That's the point, right? We made it an immutable OCI container, so you have almost zero host-level dependencies because it's powered by Podman, and that means, well, that's your one dependency. You will have to install Podman. But then it runs daemonless. Podman is optimized for security. And we didn't stop there, but we used Podman quadlets to make it a standard Linux service. So if you're familiar with how to administrate a systemd service, you're basically good to go, because that's what you will get. A standard systemd service, nothing custom, nothing special. So let's take a look at how this looks in your site. You navigate to the setup, hosts, relays, and you click on Add a Relay, and you will see the by now probably familiar quick setup. And there's a couple of steps that I will take you through now. So you get this ready to copy and paste curl command. That's really to download the relay installation script. You give a name to the relay. Internally, the relay is identified by ID, not by that name. So that means changing the name later is very easy and not a big deal at all. It's a very simple operation. You can rename your relay at any point in time, but you do have to choose a name right now. And then you install Podman. Again, nothing special, just for your convenience. We put the command here that you can just copy and paste, but it's just your regular Podman installation. And then finally run the installation script, and you've already seen we now have a one-time token. So you generate the token, and you get, again, ready to copy and paste this single command that you need to run on the host where the relay is supposed to be installed. So let's quickly take a look at the host. These are the three commands, the curl commands at the top, the Podman installation, and then finally at the bottom, the sudo bash install. And then the usual happens. The image gets pulled, the relay registered to the server, yada, 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 and you end up with your systemd service hopefully up and running. And at the bottom, again, you can see, like for convenience, commands, how to check the status of your relay. But again, that's just regular systemd service administration, nothing custom. And then heading back to the site, you should hopefully see that the relay is registered and saved successfully. And then you move on, and that's the last bit that is new. You create a host, and you can see here now alias monitored on site, and then you see monitored on relay, and there you can select one of your relays. And that's the last special thing you have to do, because after that is just your regular service discovery. You accept the services, and then you have your services in the monitoring. And from there on, everything should work exactly the same, whether relay or not relay. So that's the setup. That was quick. What about operating it? What about the updates? Well, we promised zero maintenance, so that's what happens. It updates itself. You don't have to do anything at all. I thought maybe you're interested anyway in how it works. So that's how it works. As I told you, the relay contacts the agent receiver continuously all of the time. And every time it does that, it compares its own version to the site version. And the rules are very simple, much simpler than in a distributed setup. The rule is the version must match, period. Because we are separating the checking and the fetching, there's really no room for any difference in the version. They must match. So what the relay does, if it sees the version doesn't match, it gracefully shuts down, because there's no point. But good news is it will write to a file what the expected version is, and systemd will intercept this shutdown, right? Systemd's job is to make sure this unit is running. So this relay shuts down, systemd will start it again. And what always happens if you start the relay is the latest image will be pulled and the right version will be started. So that means updating is as simple as shutting it down. So, and you don't have to do anything. Okay, so then it's running. What does it do? Well, it depends. For SNMP, it's very simple, because luckily everything SNMP, all the plugins are just running on the relay, period. For HTTP APIs, also known as special agents, it's slightly more complicated. These are the ones that we are currently supporting. I will not read them out. There's no fundamental reason why we can't support all of them. It's just a per agent effort. So these are the ones that we deemed most important. So those are the ones that we started with. And now, I and Martin already hinted at it, but just to make this clear, we can also look at this from a slightly different angle, because we have the Cloud Edition. So what's the significance of the relay for the Cloud Edition in particular? It fills the last missing piece, as you probably know. We have native push support for the agents for Linux and Windows and so on. But now with the relay, we can also push data from outside the site into the site. And in particular for the cloud scenario, of course, that's an important aspect. So, to sum up, what is the relay? It's a lean, cost-effective, automated alternative to remote sites. What it's not? A replacement of remote sites. Because it really depends on your requirement whether you want to choose the relay or whether you want to choose a remote site. Finally, what's next? We are currently covering SNMP devices and, as I said, special agents. And the next thing we are working on, colleagues are working on it right now, is supporting active checks and the ICMP host pings. And we don't only want to provide images for Red Hat and Ubuntu, but also for Slash, Debian, and Windows. And once that's done, we will turn to MKPs, so custom extensions, and how we can support them on the relay. That's a bit trickier, but we will tackle it. And also, we want to be able to connect not only to the central site, but also via remote sites and/or via reverse proxy. And that concludes my talk, and I think I have some time for questions.
Thank you so much, Moritz. Heading into the questions, first one, I think it's partly already answered. Does Checkmk Relay support MKP extensions, including custom checks and plugins, like a standard Checkmk site?
Not yet. The problem is that, as often with Checkmk, we are very open in what we allow our customers to do in regards to what happens in this local directory, and that can lead to trouble. So if we knew for sure that in this local directory would be nothing but proper MKPs, then it would be that easy, but we're not. So, sorry.
Great answer.
We tried already.
So probably this is more for Martin. Will the Checkmk Relay also come to the Checkmk Pro version?
At the moment, this is not planned. Sorry.
Don't look at me.
Is how it is. Regarding the Checkmk Relay, are there any known host service limits in terms of numbers before a relay really does not make sense versus a remote site?
No. this is always tricky because testing these large environments is not trivial for us. It currently seems that the relay is very performant. Obviously, there will be some limit at some point somewhere. We don't know where it is, but I think really the question is not how large your environment is, but really what kind of features do you want to have. And I think that's where you should make your decision on whether to use a site or a relay.
You can also set the number of fetchers, I think, yeah?
Yes.
And so when you scale up the fetchers, then you can also monitor more there.
Next one up. Do relays support custom special agents?
Well, basically, this falls into the same answer as for MKPs. In theory, yes. In practice, it's dangerous. And currently, we are focusing on making it work properly and avoid danger.
Next one up. Does the relay only talk to the central site, or is it possible to use it with a remote site?
Yeah, so currently it can only be registered and then we'll be talking to the central site, but in the future we hope to extend this.
Can the relay do SNMP probes walks too?
I think the colleagues are working on it.
They're working
also,
on it.
I think I saw a proof of concept. So the point is that you don't need that for operation, but maybe for debugging, maybe your SNMP device is slow and you want to figure out why is it slow. And currently this is something when you turn to the command line. For the relay, the whole point is that maybe the one operating the Checkmk site doesn't even have access to that network area where the relay is running. So we are aware of that and we are trying to build a way how to properly address these questions from the site. And the reason why I know that we really, really want to get this done is that we are operating a SaaS product where we have exactly this scenario. We are operating the site. We don't have access to where the relay is running. We want to make everything work anyway.
Then next one. How many relays can be connected to a central site? Is there a limit?
There's no limit enforced, and I guess there will be the practical limit at some point, but I think probably more than you want to administer.
Next one up. Can I implement 2 relays to have some sort of manual failover?
It's currently not intended that way, and I think you will run into all sorts of trouble.
Okay, last question for this talk.
Sorry, but one interruption maybe. So the relay is entirely stateless. So if you have 2 relays registered and you can somehow make them to do the switch, it probably just works. But don't quote me on that.
I won't. Yeah. Last question for this talk.
Not like I'm recorded, am I?
Does the agent bakery also work over a relay host?
No.
Well, that's not the purpose, because the relay at the moment is focused on SNMP and the special agents and not for normal agents, because normal agents have the push mode and that's how you can manage them or that monitoring part.
Thank you so much, Moritz.
Thank you.